Hi everyone, welcome back to Cooking with Teacher Pat. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make allergy-friendly sugar cookies. Now, as you guys all know, I've mentioned before that my son has tons of allergies, so I've gone through so many recipes in the past couple years on different things that I can make for him, including cookies, because if you've never made cookies before, a lot of cookie recipes have either eggs or some kind of dairy in it. Now my son can have butter, but he can't have cow's milk, and a lot of recipes also have milk and stuff too. So this one is great for any of you guys who have kids with allergies like mine. So anyways, let's take a look at the ingredients and get started. Okay parents, so the first thing that you're going to need is you are going to need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'll show you how I'm going to measure that out later. You're also going to need 1/2 cup or 1 stick of butter that's softened, not melted. The reason why I have it cut in squares right now is because I forgot to put one out to get soft. It does take some time, so I actually cut it up and then I left it out in the sun for like 5 to 10 minutes, and it got nice and soft for me. So, you know, just put a cover over it. Just make sure it's not melted, because that's going to change the texture of your cookie. And then the next thing that we're going to, for our dry ingredients, we have 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder. And then we have 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then you're going to need 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar. Now, depending on how sweet you like the cookies, I actually like mine not super sweet, so I put a little less than 1/2 cup. And then for our wet ingredients, we need 2 tablespoons of milk. I'm using oat milk today to make it dairy friendly. And then also 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Now, if you want to use fun shapes for cookie cutters, you can, these are the cookie cutters that I have. These are actually sandwich cookie cutters, and these came with that. I'm not sure, I've never tried the small ones yet, so we're going to try it out today to see if they're baking time. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this one. If you don't have cookie cutters, don't worry. I'll show you how we can make cookies without cookie cutters. And then these are totally optional, but for toppings, you can have sprinkles, turbinado sugar. This is kind of the sugar that you put on top of creme brulee. Kind of like sugar in the raw, but it melts differently, so it makes your cookies a little crunchy. And then cinnamon and sugar. Okay, parents, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all my dry ingredients. Now, if you've never baked before or you're not a baker, I had to learn this the hard way. It's really important not to pack too much flour in your cups. What you want to do is use a separate tool and scoop it and then put it in, because if you put too much flour in, then that can really change the texture of your cookies and cakes. Sometimes it might be too floury. So what I'll usually do is use a scoop or something, and then I'll scoop it lightly into the cup, because if I was just going to take the cup and scoop it like that, it's going to pack it in too much. If you have a scale, that would be the best way to properly measure, but I don't have one, so this is what I'm going to do. So after that, then you're going to take a knife or something flat, and then you're just going to scrape it across, and that's going to give you a nice even cup. So we need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Scoop it and put it in. Scoop it and fluff it in. And then 1.5 flour. And then we have our 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder. Not baking soda, baking powder. And it's really important that your baking powder is fresh. If your baking powder is kind of old, it will change the texture of the cookie as well. So I'm just going to give it a quick mix, and I'm going to set it aside. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cream my butter with my milk and my vanilla and my sugar. If you have a hand mixer, go ahead and use a hand mixer. Look how soft that is. A hand mixer, but I lent mine to my mom, so I have to do mine by hand. I'm going to go ahead and scrape everything. You want all of that butter in there. Another thing that you can do for butter, if you totally forgot to take it out and do room temperature, is cut it up in small squares again and stick it in the microwave for like 10 seconds at a time. You don't want it to melt, so if you see it melting, be sure to take it out and let it, the rest of it defrost in the, on the counter. So anyways, sugar, vanilla, and my milk. And then I'm just going to go ahead and give everything a mix. I'm going to cream it together till it looks nice and creamy. If you have a hand mixer, this will be super, super fast, but I don't, so I'm just going to show you how quickly it can be put together. Usually it's going to be a little bit more pale color. It's going to look a little fluffy. It's a good arm workout. You can definitely have your kids help you at this. Okay, so it looks pretty nice and creamy. I'm going to try to get as much off as I can off that whisk. And then I'm going to slowly add my dry ingredients. Your kids can definitely help you with this. I just would rather have my son do the eating part. So if you guys want your kids to help, by all means, this is the spot that you want them to do this. So I'm going to slowly do it, because if you put all the flour in there, it's going to get everywhere. So, and you can see how it's starting to clump up now. It's starting to look like a dough. Mix, mix, mix. Just keep mixing. I promise you it will come together. When I first made this recipe, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the driest cookie ever. But you'll be surprised at the texture. It's super, super soft. All right, I'm going to keep mixing, and then we'll come back when everything's incorporated. Okay, parents, so I've been mixing this dough for maybe about 2 minutes, and look at it. It's a cookie dough. You can definitely have your kids help with this part. It really helps work really nice fine motor skills. It works the arm muscles, hand-eye coordination. I would really recommend this, especially if you have kids that are a little bit older, like 3 and up, but 2-year-olds can definitely help with this too. So, okay. Here's how we're going to make the cookie. If you don't have cookie cutters, this is the easiest way you can do this. I'm going to grab my cookie sheet. Oh, by the way, I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention. Before you start making your cookies, preheat your oven at 350 degrees. I already had that going. I forgot to mention that. Here's my cookie sheet. This mat right here is called a sill plat. You can get them at pretty much anywhere that sells kitchen stuff. I think I got this at Bed Bath & Beyond. These are awesome for cookies. Look, it has the portions for you already. And on the other side, it even has a ruler. So if you wanted to bake like a bread or something, you know where to cut it. But these are great. You don't have to spray them or anything. And they're non-stick. They're super easy to clean. And it keeps your pan clean. So anyways, here's how I would do it if I didn't have cookie cutters. I'm going to get like a tablespoon. And you're going to get about a tablespoon's worth of dough, and then you're going to roll it into a circle. Now, here's where what you can do with the extra sugar. I have a bowl that has just sugar, and I have a bowl that has cinnamon and sugar. The cinnamon and sugar is about 1 part cinnamon and 2 parts white granulated sugar. You can also always put more cinnamon if you prefer it. So I rolled it into a ball, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm dropping one in the sugar and one in the cinnamon sugar. It kind of turns into like a snickerdoodle almost. Okay, so I have it coated. I'm going to put it on the pan. And then after that, you're going to want to smash it down. You can just use your hand. Smash it down to about 1/4 inch. And then when they bake, they're actually going to, look, and it actually fits into that circle right there. And this is totally optional. That turbinado sugar that I mentioned to you earlier, I actually got this at Sprouts in one of those scoop bins. If you sprinkle some on top, oh my, Austin. Sprinkle some on top and then press it in a little bit. It gives your cookies like a nice little glitter and a nice crunch. So that's how you would do it if you didn't have a cookie cutters. Now, if you have cookie cutters, this is what you're going to want to do. You want to take your dough, wrap it in some plastic wrap, stick it in the fridge for about ½ an hour to let that butter get hardened again. And then I'm going to take mine out, so I'll be right back. Okay, parents, so here's the dough that I made earlier that I chilled in the fridge. And it's nice and it's hard. All that butter had time to solidify. Now, this is another reason why you don't want to use too much flour. There's 2 ways you can do this. You can put some flour on a cutting board, and that's why you don't want to add too much flour, to roll it out so it doesn't stick. But I have parchment paper. If you don't have that, then I would put a little bit of flour on just like a little tiny dust, not too much. And then I'm actually going to put a little bit on my rolling pin because I don't want it to stick to the rolling pin. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to roll it to about 1/4 inch thick. Your kids can definitely help you with this. Just for time's sake, I'm going to do this, and Austin will help us in just a minute. Do try to have it as even as possible. As you can tell, I'm totally not a baker. I don't know how to use a rolling pin very well. If you have any tips for me, any tips would be appreciated. Okay, so I'm gonna roll it from the inside out. That's what I learned from this one lady on Food Network. You always want to roll from the middle out, she says. All right, Pan, so I got Austin here to help me. Hey, turn around. You want to make some cookies with me?
Nah.
I rolled the dough to about 1/4 of an inch, roughly. So, Austin, we're going to cut some cookies out with these cookie cutters. We're just going to make some flowers. We're going to put it down. You're going to push it down. Push. Yeah, good job. Oop. And one popper. Look how cute. Ta-da. Okay, wait. Next one. Let's do 2 of these ones. The cool thing about this dough, parents, oh, look how cute that is that once you're done stamping out your cookies, you can actually roll the dough back and make more. So these are so cute. Okay, let's try the other one. Now, you don't have cookie cutters. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to cheat with, use a toy that Austin has. Ah, don't touch that, please. Okay, thank you for helping, Austin. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Okay, I took one of his Easter eggs, and I'm going to experiment. I'm going to see if this works. All right, wish me luck. Ta-da! Not the perfect circle, but hey, look! It's a circular cookie. Use what you can find. Okay, now that my cookies are cut out, you can actually put them on like this. You can dip them in the sugar like how we did with the other ones. But if you want to do sprinkles, here's the easiest way. I only have 4th of July sprinkles and Christmas sprinkles, so we're going to get patriotic today, guys. I'm just going to sprinkle it onto my parchment paper, and then I'm just going to put it right on top and then just kind of press it down into there, and then there's just stick. Ta-da! Oops, there's not a lot over there, so I'm just going to... And then when it bakes, look how cute! They're going to get more stuck on there as they bake. These are so cute. These are like perfect size for kids. I'm going to send the link of those cookie cutters that I have. They actually come in a sandwich cookie cutter kit, but here you go. And then once you're done making your cookies, then you don't even have to grease the pan. That's the good thing about these mats. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in my oven for 8 to 9 minutes. Now, my oven is older, so I'm going to bake mine for 10 minutes. So just go by your oven. If you know that your oven is newer and doesn't require that much time, I would check on it at 8 to 9 minutes. They're not going to be golden brown, okay? They're actually going to be really pale. So you don't want to overbake them, then they get too hard. So the purpose is for them to be nice and soft. So I'm going to put these in for 10 minutes in mine, but I would say 9 minutes would be a good time for you guys. So we'll see these in about 10 minutes. Okay guys, so my timer just went off and I'm going to go ahead and take my cookies out. Ta-da! Oh my gosh, they're so cute! Look at them. I know they don't look like they're completely done, but I promise you they are. So I'm going to place them on the counter and let them cool in the pan for 5 minutes before you even move them, okay? So I'll see you back in 5 minutes. While it's cooling, I just want to let you see. Look how cute these are. 4th of July cookies. And then here's the ones with just the sugar that was rolled in the sugar and the turbinado sugar. It's like a little glittery. And then those are the cinnamon sugar ones. Looks just like a snickerdoodle. All right, see you in 5 minutes. Okay, parents, so it's been 5 minutes since these cookies have been resting on the pan. I highly recommend letting it sit on the pan for at least 5 minutes to let it continue cooking, because if you take it off right away and put it on a cooling rack to cool, it's going to fall apart. It's going to be way too soft. So this gives it time to kind of come together. So I'm going to try one and show you what it looks like inside. I'm going to go for the cinnamon sugar one because I like cinnamon. But look, nice and soft. Soft. Not too sweet because I didn't use the whole half a cup. I used a little less than a half a cup. Crunchy from the turbinado sugar on top. Give it a try. Not very many ingredients. Your kids can totally help you out with this. Allergy friendly. If you have anyone in the house that has milk allergies or egg allergies, this is the perfect recipe. Or if you don't have eggs in the refrigerator, make these cookies, guys. There goes my clock. I think if you maybe bake it for an extra minute to make it a little crunchier, then you can definitely ice it. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. Bye.